Good evening and welcome to the Society, our weekly Vaesen RPG campaign. My name is Loki and I will be your game master for these dark and thrilling tales. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this, the fourth episode of our second chapter, and I hope that we delight, fright, and intrigue you with mystery and adventure. So, without further ado, let's meet our cast. Take it away!
Hi everyone, I'm Dan, also known as Divin Inc., and I'm playing the vagabond Dagmar Eriksson.
Hello again. I am Matt. I am playing Quentin Ludensberg, the private detective.
Hello, I'm Gus. I'm playing Morton Thorsby, the servant.
We have a number of people we would like to thank for all the resources and contributions they have provided to tonight's episode. The links should appear in the Twitch chat or in the details below the video if you are catching up on our YouTube.
Our virtual tabletop tonight is the incredible Roll20, featuring their dynamic lighting feature, inbuilt character sheets, and virtual dice roller. Go check them out at roll20.net. In addition, our battle maps were created using Dungeon Fog and all the amazing assets there.
Our character art was created by the extremely talented Zhuzha, who you should go check out on Instagram at Zhuzha UK. That's ZSUZSA UK. Our game tokens and dice roller tokens come from the Vaesen RPG rulebook by Free League and from the artist Johan Egerkrans.
The music and the ambient sounds throughout the stream comes from Tabletop Audio and Kevin MacLeod in Computer, all provided via the Roll20 jukebox. You can check out both these amazing artists via their websites at tabletopaudio.com and incomputech.com.
Hey! This is getting slick. This operation is getting the slickness and the smoothness. Let's hit that intro video.
Elementary
Indeed. Hello and welcome to this episode. Let's do the recap and then let's get into the thick of it. Last episode, our investigatory party, our intrepid Scooby gang. Gosh, I hope I don't get caught up for some sort of trademark scandal right there. But oh well, I've said it now. Can't take it back. Began their investigation of Borgund in earnest. Having travelled through the town by rail, their train is stopped and not allowed to proceed, as a murder has occurred in the town of Borgund, and the authorities are concerned the murderer may try to escape on the rail. Thus, the train has been halted until the investigation can be concluded, or at least the passengers on the train can be cleared of any suspicion. Our investigators begin combing the town for clues. And after a day of hard investigation, questioning, and clue finding, they return to the train to retire to their rooms for the evening. Arising the following morning and heading to breakfast, a strange deja vu falls over them, but it is dismissed until police investigators and train guards come into the dining car to announce that the train has been halted for a murder has occurred. It is a strange and jarring moment to hear these words repeated again exactly as they had been the day before. Or is it the day before, but rather another today repeated? We're going to dive straight back in to said dining car, where we will begin to find out. So, as the police come in and make the announcement that the train has been halted, and that a murder has occurred, they depart the carriage, leaving behind a train guard. I've got to try and find the right sound now. What will you do?
Curious.
That's very curious. That seemed very similar. Has there been
Yes.
another murder?
I mean, we were already halted. Why would they say we were now halted?
I agree.
Was not.
How?
Dagmar like rubs crumbs off their face and takes a big gulp of coffee and like looks up at the like, sorry, what?
Does the coffee taste the same as yesterday?
Sorry, what?
Did you hear the police come in?
I heard someone shouting.
The same policemen have been back into the carriage and announced the murder.
Another one?
Well, I believe it was the same announcement. It seems very much like the same announcement as yesterday.
What can what's the scenes like around us, Luke? Is it would Dagmar notice some similarities, i.e. some of the key characters in the same positions doing what they were doing the day before?
Yeah, so whereas previously it's very likely that each of you would have come into the carriage and seen familiar faces, but not really thought about it because it's such an absurd thing to think. But now that the idea has been floated that it seems to be the same, as each of you look around the carriage, the feeling of deja vu is like unshakable. It really presses in on each of you. The same faces seem to be dotted around, and you're almost certain in the same places doing the same things, although you can't be 100% certain, for you didn't take notes or memorize the moment, but that deja vu is undeniable.
Can I pull out my sort of notebook that Quentin would have been like jotting down stuff in and see if there is still everything that I remember think I remember writing in it?
Okay, absolutely you can. As you flick through your notebook to come to the final pages where you have jotted down the answers to your questions and any clues and thoughts you have, everything you believe should be in that notebook is missing.
Oh.
Almost as if the whole of yesterday never occurred.
I'd be looking for it. I swear I wrote stuff down.
Dagmar's immediately just going to kind of plunge their hand into their bag to see if they can put a hand around the book they took.
And it is not there.
Hmm.
In fact, anything that Dagmar put into that bag from the day before is missing.
I remember there being a lonesome sort of military figure looking quite calm and forlorn holding a telegram. Is that person still there?
Yes. The guard appears at your table and says, I'm sorry for the delay. It is unavoidable following such a tragic series of events in the town. I've been asked by the police to find out if you have been subjected to any of the vandalism that has been reported throughout the train and the town.
Vandalism.
Yes, the police have asked us to take a written account, or at least a log, of anybody who has had any of their belongings damaged.
I'm unaware of any of my belongings being damaged at this time.
Yes, me neither. Quentin Ludensberg, by the way. Can you give me any more information on the reason the train stopped, on who the poor victim of this murder was?
I'm afraid I don't have much information, mostly just bullet points to hand out. There has been a murder in the town, from what I can gather, of an older lady. There has been vandalism throughout as well. It would appear that it might be related to religion, as all of the items that have been damaged are, from what I from what I have been led to believe, are religious iconography to do with the church, but also necklaces, jewelry, anything really that bears Christian symbolism seems to have been damaged overnight, along with the tragic murder of this elderly lady.
Curious.
Yes, indeed. The police are trying to see if the two things are connected or not. And that is why the train has been stopped. The police will conduct questioning of all of the passengers. We will disseminate information out to you as and when we get it. I'm sorry, I can't stay for too long. I must try and get this record of any vandalism to the police.
Yes, of course. I thank you for your time.
And you see he kind of turns and addresses the table opposite you with the same question, and kind of the conversation is the same at that table. They're asking, what on earth has happened, and it's very similar as this guard goes down the dining car.
When we're told about the Christian symbolism, does Morton recognise any? Do you remember anything that may have happened anywhere else?
No, I don't think so. No, there wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have stirred any specific memory in Morton.
If we've gone backwards, or it's the same day again, I really don't understand how it happened. All the things at the moment are the same. We've made that assumption. Well, that means the information that we can remember in our heads, if we haven't got it written down, will be the same. So I would propose that we follow a similar path and offer the captain our assistance again, but we use the information we already have to try and leapfrog ahead in our investigation.
Yes, definitely. I don't know if any of you two are a bit more charismatic. Maybe you can try to talk to the maid at the Kirkby household this time. My ego can only take so much bruising. And she did not seem to like me much.
Well, we didn't get to speak to the Hexajäger either.
Yes, I feel they are a good one to talk to, especially with this graffiti of religious iconography. I don't seem to remember.
That seems new.
I also think we should maybe go back to the murder scene. We if you remember, I saw some rather strange creatures which you seemed familiar with, Quentin. So maybe we should take a trip there again too.
That would
Fine
seem
idea.
like a plan. Yes. And we know they should be there, so we can either confront them directly first with some knowledge, maybe use some of the knowledge we already have to be able to talk with them.
It is nice to be able to get a second chance on things like this. You don't tend to in a case. Be nice to talk to people that don't remember talking to us, assuming we are the only ones that seem to have noticed this repeating.
Very true. The yes, it will give us a heads up. But my worry is that if there is differences occurring, if we have another day where we don't do this, is there going to be more trouble caused? Could there be more deaths, even though it's the running of the same day?
And what will have happened with the captain? I believe she was out of town, we were told, last night. Be intrigued to see if she still remains here.
True.
Well,
I think we should follow the same path. Offer our services, or your services.
maybe we should try and find the same officer as yesterday then. They seemed quite knowledgeable of my name. Hopefully we'll get an easy introduction again.
Could even consider asking a few more questions than we did last time.
Yes, maybe check in with the officers earlier in the day. Yes, they have a second chance, but we may not get a third, or, as Morton says, the rules may have changed on day 3. There may be more trouble.
We would take advantage of time and crack on and get ourselves on the investigation as soon as possible to give us that even more time in the day. We know the sort of problems that we may come up against, so it's best to try and circumnavigate those if we can.
Dagmar
Yes.
knocks back their coffee in one massive power gulp, as if to initiate movement.
Oh, couldn't have put it better myself. Well, stand up.
I'll follow suit.
All right. I will first head to the part of the train. I believe it was just by the exit, wasn't it, that we ran into the officer yesterday? Assuming we're hitting it at the same time.
Yeah, we did not. We found them on the platform, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was on the
Correct.
platform or just at the edge of the train, but we'll head to that location, definitely.
Okay. You head out of the dining car to make your way to the platform, And as you open one of the carriage doors of the train, you are greeted with a policeman or an inspector or one of the authorities standing on the platform guarding the door. And as the door opens, he turns and he says, "I'm sorry, but you'll have to stay aboard the train until the questioning is over."
I was hoping to offer my services instead. I don't know if you've heard of me, but I am Quentin Ludensberg, a private detective, and I really would like to help however I could. Couldn't abide sitting around idly all day.
Give me. We're gonna do it. Give me a either inspiration or manipulation. I don't mind which one. And you do get a +1 modifier. Your fame.
I feel it's gonna have to be manipulation. And then you just type in +1.
Or just one.
Oh, just the one.
Yeah, you don't need the plus.
Okay. Let's first roll of the night, please. Come on.
Make it a good one.
Hey! Nice. His eyes widen a little bit as you introduce yourself, and he says, "The Quentin Ludensberg."
The one and only.
Oh, well, I heard about that case in Bergen. That was quite some detective work there.
Why? Thank you. It was nothing really, just all in a day's work. Hopefully I can help just as much here.
Well, hopefully, as luck would have it, I have need of you. Let me take you to the commander. Follow me. And he turns and begins to walk along the platform towards what looks to be one of the waiting rooms on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few police dotted around, and he beckons to one and says, "Harkon, guard the door. I'll take these to the commander." And you see another one of the police goes to guard the door as he leads you to a waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
As the door opens, the waiting room is sort of being converted a little bit into what looks to be a bit like an incident room. There is a table in the middle. Most of the chairs have been pushed out of the way. And there are a few chairs dotted around, and there's a few documents that have all been lined up really neatly on the table, like very neatly on the table. There is a police officer in here who looks up at you as you all walk in. And the police, the guard that's walked you into the room, looks around the room, sort of surveying this waiting room, and says, "Mona, do you know where the captain's gone? Or the commander, or whatever she's calling herself at the moment?" And this female policewoman who's in the room, she says, "She was just following up on a lead. She said she'd only be a minute or two before she came back." "All right then. Can I leave these with you? This is the Quentin Ludensberg." And he kind of he does the eyebrow thing where he's like an actual celebrity is in the room. And she and Mona says, "Yes, of course. Take a seat.
Thank you.
She'll only be a minute."
Plonk myself. Actually, instead of sitting, he'll do that kind of pacing around the room, but in the way that you can try and like you're kind of peeking at everything, but in a where you're trying to be like, I'm just pacing this room, and you're actually like
Yeah.
pacing it for information.
Everything in the room is so neatly tidied and put away that actually you actually can't glean any information from anything that's on the table because the fastidious
Yeah.
nature of the tidying. It's not even a minute before you hear the click and the clack of authority as you hear some very authoritative high heels walk along the platform, and the door opens into this waiting room, and in comes a woman whose hair is braided up onto her head like a shield maiden, but she is dressed in an immaculate police uniform that looks like it's been ironed and starched within an inch of its life, and some heels that are somewhere in between a statement piece but also functional. And she stands in the door, and as she walks in the door, she says, Mona, I'm going to. Ah. Mona, may I ask who our guests are? And Mona replies, Yes, Commander. This is the Quentin Ludensberg, the detective. And she turns to look at you, the commander, with hawk-like eyes. She looks at each of you, and it's in that moment you feel almost like she is trying to survey into your soul. And she says, Very well. Pleasure to meet you. Can I ask why you are in the investigation room?
We are here to help. One of your officers said that you could hopefully use our hand in this case.
Well, cases, if you don't mind
Of
the
course.
correction. Seems we're investigating two separate incidences, a murder and vandalism. Whether they're connected or not has not been ascertained. So, how are you intending on helping us, Mr. Ludensberg and company?
Well, we can help investigate the town, or I would say is probably the best use of our talents. Gives your officers more time to do questioning and stuff like that.
An efficient
That is.
suggestion. I appreciate it. It could be quite useful to have an unbiased eye in the town. Fortunately, many of the investigators and police and guards are either from here, related to someone from here, or have a vested interest. An unbiased opinion would be most valuable. Plus, I can take a few officers out of the field to question the train passengers. Intriguing idea.
What do you mean vested interest?
There is a rather large business that is situated here in this town that has got some investment knocking around.
I do thank you for being very forthright with that information. It is very useful to know, and yes.
This is a criminal investigation. The only thing that's welcome here is truth. I don't have time for anything else.
And that is all we shall bring.
Excellent. Well, you'll have to apologise. I don't have time for tea and crumpets.
Okay, we've just eaten.
There's like a little smirk across her face, and she says, Well, in that case, then, I suggest you get underway. Do you know your way around the town, or would you like a guide?
You could say we've know our way around. Thank you.
Perfect. That makes things even easier. Well, I will give you until the end of the day. I would like a report on my desk come evening.
It will have to be an oral report, I'm afraid. I don't like to write too much on the go.
I don't mind on the delivery of the information as long as it is succinct and accurate. It would also be helpful if you managed to compile it into 2 separate case files until we know whether these crimes are associated or not.
Sounds fair.
Lovely. Well,
If
might I
you-
suggest you hit the ground running?
Okay. If you find any information you believe prudent to our case during the day, if you could send a runner to us of any officer that is free, that would be very much appreciated as well.
If I can spare, and if I get some pertinent information to the case, I may share this with you, although I'm sure that you will not need any of our assistance. I have heard a few things about you, Mr. Ludensberg. I'm excited to see what you can pull out of the bag.
May I just ask, would it be possible to have any information that you already have about the case, like who was first on the scene, who reported
Cases.
cases? Sorry, apologies.
So the murder victim would probably be a fine start.
Sadly, it would seem to be an elderly woman who is rather popular in the town, named Benedicta. Her house is not far. You'll know it. It's the only round one in the town. There are guards standing outside. Let them know that I've given you authority to investigate the crime scene. Additionally, we've had several reports throughout the town of vandalism. It would appear Christian iconography has been damaged throughout the households, and most shockingly, the church. We're investigating them separately until we have concordant evidence that they are by the same perpetrator.
Do you suspect they could be linked?
I suspect nothing. I seek out data and information and will make my judgment from there. Currently, I am trying to deal with civil unrest. It would appear our other visitor to the town is trying to stoke flames.
Which other visitor?
We have a Hexerjäger residing in the town at the moment, something to do with the Kirkby child. This is none of my business, as it is nothing to do with law, rather faith. And I do not get myself involved in the esoteric or the religious. But civil unrest is challenging, particularly while we are investigating crimes. I'm not supportive of her actions to go around rabble-rousing.
Would you mind telling us where we might find this Hexerjäger?
Well, if she has listened and remains quiescent, she will be in the church. Otherwise, I'm sure you will find her roaming the streets, causing all kinds of social disturbance.
We thank you for your time.
Yes.
The officer that was first on scene to the scene of the murder, what time was this, and could you tell us who?
It was in the early hours of the morning. Apparently, Mr. Kirkby, the owner of the wool mill, went to collect a dye shipment that hadn't arrived in time. It was he and his wife that notified the authorities of the murder. The subsequent vandalism reports have trickled in since dawn.
Since dawn.
Since dawn.
Okay.
Now, if you don't mind, I have investigations to command, control, and oversee. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I would rather you spent it investigating.
We would not want to take up any more of yours either. We thank you.
Yes. Well, good luck, if you believe in that sort of thing.
A good detective always does. We'll give it a little bow nod and then leave.
She gives a heel click, and then she walks over to Mona, the other policewoman on site, and begins giving orders about setting up maybe like tents or something on the platform where they can do the questioning of each of the passengers, and about coordinating between the train guards and the authorities in kind of corralling some sense of order into the questioning. She just kind of ditches you. She just goes over and starts giving out these orders. Mona is there scribbling them down. There's definitely the kind of feeling that you have been dismissed at this point and are expected to go and begin your investigation.
Happy to.
Be on our way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you head out onto the street of Borgund, let's head over. Okay, there you go. So you're the little token.
Yerp.
By the train station.
As we sort of leave the train station and look and be like, the story does seem to remain the same. It was still found by the Kirkabys, still the same victim. The early hours of the morning gives me hope. If this is indeed a repeating situation, we fail today, maybe. If we camp out by Benedicta's house, we may be able to see them arrive.
Maybe, yes, maybe. It'd be nice to get to a conclusion before that time, so that it doesn't.
Oh,
we
indeed.
don't continue. I don't believe we're going to be able to stop this action.
No. Unfortunately.
The actual murder, but this is a very unusual situation, and I must admit, Quentin, so I'm very unsure about how to proceed.
Cases like this do tend to be a bit weirder. Most of my famous cases did involve Vaesen, which, for those like us that can see them, it does give us an edge, and I'm hoping that we have the same this time. If we're the only people that can see them, then maybe we're the only ones that... Maybe they weren't spotted, and, one of them was at the scene when it happened. We can only hope.
I guess let's stop at Benedicta's house and see if we can summon them again.
Yes, you went through the front door, I believe, so...
Yes, I propose you come with me this time.
Yes, I propose that the rest of the house, apart from that letter, it may be worth picking that up. Now we know how to get it.
We know the room. You know the rooms of the house and the layout of the house. I take it we're walking and talking.
Yes.
Yeah. We know the layouts of the house, so it would make sense to do a quick go to the main room first, but also to do a quick review of the rest of the building to see if that is as we remember it, and we can find the key and we can unlock the chest and the books.
Yes.
And nothing else has changed.
I believe she did not follow the Christian gods, so I feel maybe vandalism is less likely. But
think
who knows?
Morton's thinking as he's walking, and
Mm,
the bedroom, that was turned over as though someone was hunting for something. Maybe these acts of vandalism are linked to that. Maybe this
maybe.
person, feeling it's to do with Christianity, is looking to find something special, and that's why these vandals. We need to find out more information, but maybe that's a thought we should put in our head and maybe link them together.
Maybe.
True.
This story you told us, Dagmar, the trolls were ousted by the Christians, I believe.
That's how the legend of this village was told to me. That the trolls of the mountain were destroyed, all bar one, by the person who brought the faith to this village.
If they are involved and someone here is working with them, the vandalism of only Christian artifacts and stuff does. Maybe there could be something there as well.
And do I remember rightly that the troll was left on its own, a lonely troll, and that's the name of. Lonely relates to the name of this river that runs through from the mountain.
Yes, they called it
Yes.
Ensum, which was the name in the letter.
Yes.
Somehow it links to Benedicta's house, given all of her doors had troll crosses on them.
Yes. As we're walking, do we see, and I'm trying to look around, do we notice any of the acts of vandalism around the village on the outsides of properties? In the way that the commander spoke suggested it was both inside and outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So because you're looking for it, you do notice here and there on some of the properties, there are like wooden crosses over the door and other sort of, religious, subdued religious statements that have been built into the houses. And you can see that they, some of these have been damaged. Anything that would have been painted has kind of been marred in some way. Either the plaster has been broken away or something has been like streaked over the top of them. So everywhere you whenever you see these sort of things, it's really evident that like something has gone along and damaged everything. That is kind of all the symbolism. These are mostly just like the ones that are painted or on the outside of houses. But from the guy on the train, it's also jewellery, ornaments, things from inside the church.
Okay.
Maybe there's a stash somewhere. Still in the village. Or maybe they're just trying to get rid of it. Or
Does seem targeted.
would any of us know if trolls are like vampires opposed to the crosses, Christian crosses and stuff like that?
I'm gonna say no. None of you have ever even seen a troll. They're just a fairy story. But it's definitely one of those. Each of you in your own way has witnessed a fairy story come to life. So it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that trolls too could be real.
Well, shall we head to Benedictus?
Let's see if we can get any more information. Yes.
See if we can find the little friends. And maybe
suppose
lay to rest whether or not the body did move.
The body moved. That's all I'm saying. The body moved. I propose that I follow the series of events that I did when investigating that room last time. The only difference being you both stand near the dead body with me while I complete those actions and see if they reappear.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. That does sound like a
Agreed.
very sensible plan. Very sensible.
Okay. Are you all approaching from the front door?
We are.
Oh, all right, lovely. That just makes it so much easier, so I can just like plonk, plonk things.
Are they is the front door the same as it was before?
It is. Yes. When you arrive at Benedicta's house, everything is as it was before.
Is there still a troll cross on top of the door?
There is.
And it is unblemished.
Undamaged.
Okay. Good to know.
I guess I'm going to just open the door and start this.
Okay.
Just don't step on the rug.
Always beware the rug.
Yeah.
So much for a officer waiting outside to question us.
Oh, I just
No
went
change
along the
there.
assumption that you had that you had already kind of just told them that you were okay to go in. There
So
were
much for
indeed,
The fact that we beat him here.
yeah, there were indeed police officers standing outside. I just kind of went along the
Yeah.
lines of you
No,
gave
that's-
them, you gave
That's
them
fine,
your bona fides.
Cool. To know if there was a security risk.
And I'll open the next door.
Okay.
And I'm going to step inside, quite near Benedicta.
Peek my little head in.
Let's follow. Is this a bookcase here against the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go in
Oh,
and
that
stand.
one, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I thought I was thinking you meant this thing over here.
Yeah. Is it still dark in here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
All the curtains
exactly.
are closed, just like it was before. I've just fixed
Yeah.
that one shady curtain that was open.
So, I guess Dagmar's now going to commence the series of events that they did last time. They're going to go and open the curtain. They're going to inspect the body. They're going to inspect the tea. And generally take time mulling each of those over.
Hmm.
I'm going to assume nothing has changed.
No, nothing has changed. Everything is exactly as it was before.
And then the final act, Dagmar is going to move to the bookcase in the corner, rifle through all the books slowly, take the book of particular interest to them, and put it into their bag.
Mhm. Nothing happens.
Hmm. I have my suite at the ready and everything. Finding
So
the
that
suite
was
just
this. That was the series of events that I did. Nothing appears to be happening here.
Where did they come from when they was it the fireplace?
They were behind me when I heard them talking. They were by the fireplace.
Hmm.
Perhaps myself and Morton should go and reevaluate the remainder of the house. Maybe you'd like a little look around and inspect the body while we complete some of the tasks that possibly need to be recompleted.
Yes, the key was in. I will explain how there was one jar that was sort of out of place near the top, and how there was the box behind it that the key was hidden in. Because I remember
It was
I
the
was
jar,
completely
actually.
off- The
So
jar,
there was a
the
jar
itself,
with
yes.
a funny label, It just had a symbol, not a name, and it was full of stuff. And the key was kind of in with the stuff.
That then.
And-
I will say that, not that there is a small
Hmm.
container behind it.
No, I think I would thank Morton and say, "Come on, Dagmar, maybe we should make that our first thing to do."
Sounds good.
I will
And I'll
look at the
beeline
body
for
then, I
that shelf,
guess.
or to go and look on that shelf.
After you, Mr. Morton.
Always split the party. Nothing
So,
bad ever happened.
You begin going through the steps of that you did before, but also trying to further this investigation. The house is exactly as it was before. It feels kind of filled with shadows, and it is ominous. Even once you have opened the curtains, the light seems to kind of be feeble in its attempts to drive the shadows back. So it does feel a little ominous. As you open the door into the kitchen, you can see that there is on the table what looks to be like a meal, like someone was preparing food and then was interrupted and never finished those preparations. There is the strange table to the left, filled with bizarre alchemical apothecary looking items.
Okay. Go straight through this room to the door.
Opening the door, you find a large shelf, just like you had seen previously, covered with jars and pots and bottles and boxes, all immaculately labelled as to their contents.
I'm going to follow Quentin's instruction and search through to try and find the jar that should have the key in it.
There is no jar that fits Quentin's description.
In that case, I'll say to Dagmar, it's not here. It's not where Quentin said it was. Maybe we should check the chest.
That's very strange.
It is
Maybe
very
we
strange.
should.
You headed to the bedroom. It is exactly as you remember. It looks like someone has searched through the place. The drawers are open. Everything looks like it's been sort of searched through. But as if whoever was searching had been interrupted and had fled the scene before they were able to put everything back to rights. Dagmar, as you come up to the chest, you again can see that it looks like someone has made an attempt to unlock the chest. And there is a desk in here with books, and it is the same as it was before. The books are all about medicine and herbs, and the one that is open is particularly about the diseases that affect children and the herbs for them. And there is that slip of paper still there with that list of symptoms.
The same symptoms.
Yeah. Do you investigate the chest, Dagmar?
Yes.
Okay. You go over to it. It looks exactly as it did in, well, the last time. Yesterday, today. The first repeat. And it looks like someone has tried to get in it. And there is that little thing of like, you'll just try it. Because you always do. Just try it. No, anytime something is locked, like a door or anything, you always see, is it locked? And the chest is not locked. The lid just lifts up and the chest is empty. Now, as you are investigating the kitchen and the back room and the bedroom, Quentin, you remain in the living room. What are you up to?
I'm just sort of, walking the scene. I'm looking at the body to make sure it looks exactly the same as it did last time. Sort of when we came through here. And just kind of waiting a bit and just sort of seeing if, based on time, maybe we were too early and the Vater haven't turned up yet, but they will do. So just kind of deliberately trying to, based on the description Dagmar gave, like give them that window to appear without me noticing so that they don't get spooked. But yeah, I'll probably be paying most attention to the body and then maybe looking at the shelves to see if there's any books on trolls and the legend. Mainly.
As you are investigating, looking around and all of those things, as you are looking at the body is in the same state that it was before. You can see that there's defensive marks, and all of the things that you had seen the first time you were here. And something catches your eye in the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a little pair of beady eyes looking out of the fireplace, the shadows of the fireplace at you.
It's another sodding piece of work. I will reach into my pocket and very accidentally drop like a sweet behind me. Like, oops. And see if anything happens.
Nothing happens. The two little beady eyes stare out of the fireplace at you.
So Dagmar said that she took a book and that sort of, they came out further, so I'm going to walk over and just choose a random book and take it off the shelf and put it towards my satchel.
Nothing happens.
Okay. I will walk and look towards the fire, and I will reach in and actually hold out some like food or sweets and be like, if there is anyone there, you are safe. I mean you no harm.
Give me an inspiration roll.
Okay.
Come on, Quentin.
Have you with a +1 if you haven't rolled it already?
I haven't, and
I definitely should give you a bonus for this.
I've already succeeded once tonight. This doesn't bode well.
That's it, your one success.
Yeah.
Gasp.
What? What is this? Who is he?
You bob down on the floor, and did you say you've got candy in your hand?
Hell yeah.
Okay, you bob down, like you get quite low, and you have candy in your hand, and you extend it out towards the fireplace and say that you mean no harm. The two little beady eyes from the fireplace stare back at you, and there is a little blink, and out from the shadows of the fireplace comes a tiny little creature. It's like it has a mouse-like face and mouse-like ears, but it is standing on 2 feet. It's wearing a little green hat and like a little green jacket and trousers, with its little mousy hands, and it steps very tentatively out of the shadows of the fireplace and down onto the floor. Is that candy?
Yes. Yes, it is. Would you like some?
You can see me.
I can. I can.
Are you one of Benedicta's friends? One of the old friends?
You could say I am an old friend of Benedicta's. I'm here to work out what happened to her. Hey, I knew her.
One of my favorite things when players tell lies. Give
Hey,
me a
technicality.
give
No.
me a manipulation roll.
Why do I do this to myself? Never force a roll.
Questions,
Never force a
questions,
roll.
questions.
Oh god, never force a roll, Matt. Never force a roll. When will you learn?
3 for
Please.
3.
Please. Oh, it's building the tension. Why are you not rolling? I definitely pressed you.
Can't succeed 3 from 3.
Oh, you can push the roll if you wish.
I already pushed one the other day, though.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, we need to know, though. We need to know. Sure. Let's go.
Okay,
go.
you're going to take another mental condition,
I'm
and you
frightened.
can push the roll just as you did. So roll
Okay.
is just roll. Do the same roll.
Come on.
The tension is real.
Oh, you suck.
Oh!
Why have I lost it? Oh,
Because you have an extra condition.
shit.
Okay, so this little creature looks at you, and it says, "Don't look old enough. I think you're lying to me. That's not very nice, is it?"
I apologize. It has been a long morning. I am on Benedicta's side to try and work out what happened here. And maybe I pushed my luck a little with the wording of that statement. I did not mean to mislead.
Give me a
I am
force
friendly.
roll. As you're
Force?
talking,
Oh, fuck. Uh-huh.
you feel something kind of sort of rise up, like the feeling that you need to do a giant burp.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
The feeling kind of rises up, and you see this little creature really staring at you intently, but you swallow it down. You take a little moment and you compose yourself. And there is a little look that crosses the creature's face, like it was expecting something to happen that didn't. And it says, "All right. I guess I'll give you one last chance.
Thank you.
Why are you
Uh,
here?"
I am here to find out what happened to Benedicta. To try and bring justice to whoever did this to her.
No, I know that. You were here yesterday. Why are you here again?
Ah, okay. Well, it's good to see we're on the same page. We wanted to see if things had changed. We remember that we were here yesterday, just as you remember seeing us.
Well, of course you
We
do.
wanted-
You can see, and I'm not one of you.
What did you see? Have you seen others apart from us?
Nah, just you and those police people. But they ain't
Did you-
gonna solve it. But you might.
I certainly hope so. There is something going on here that needs to be stopped.
More than one thing, I'd wager.
Yes. There is something happening to the Christian iconography in this place as well. Something's unhappy. Or multiple things are unhappy with the situation.
Ah, there's only one. Ensome's all that's left.
Have you seen this ensign?
Ah, no one does, apart from Benedicta. But she goes up into the mountain to see him. Or at least she did.
And have you seen or heard anything about the Kirkby child who is apparently troubled with terrors and such?
The Kirkbys asked Benedicta to help the little one.
When was this?
A while ago.
You did not happen to be at the house last night?
We're always here.
Did you hear the commotion or whatever happened to Benedicta?
Nah, no commotion. It's sad, really. We liked her living here.
Yes, I hear a lot of she was very liked. It is a
Hopefully
crying
the
shame.
next ones that live here are nice too.
I
or at
hope
least-
so for your sake.
Well, they'd better be.
My manners. Sorry, I didn't ever give you the sweet. Which do you have a preference in color? I have red or yellow.
I like all colours, so I better have both.
Of course, a fine decision.
The little creature reaches out very tentatively and then stuffs both of them in, and you see both of the sweets like go one in each cheek.
I think it gives a little chuckle. What is your name, by the way? My name's Quentin.
Widget.
Sorry, I missed that. What was
Widget.
the name?
It's
Is it?
Widget. Open your ears. It's Widget. Widget. I wanted you to burp up frogs. I ain't made you deaf.
I'm kind of disappointed I didn't burp up frogs. It would have been
Me
quite an
too.
experience, I'm sure.
I'll have to try harder next time.
Yes. It would be good to see you again. It is, it's been a while since I've seen one of your kind, I will admit.
On that poignant moment, where Quentin says, "It has been some time since I've seen one of your kind." We are going to return to Dagmar and Morton, who, as you've been investigating, as Dagmar kind of realizes that the chest is empty, the both of you begin to hear Quentin talking through the wall / door.
Hush. Sounds like Quentin may have made contact. Maybe we should stay out of the way.
That's probably a good idea. I think these things are quite easily spooked.
I'm gonna step into the room a bit further and look into the chest and see if it's empty.
Is indeed.
Do we feel, as I was first into this room last time, does it feel like it looks the same as I entered it last time? Do I get that feeling?
It is identical,
Even
apart from just left casually on the side, there is a jar with a label on it that matches the description that Quentin gave. The lid is open, and there's some of the contents are scattered about a little bit. And there is a key. There is the key that that looks like it will open this chest, kind of left on the side.
Seems someone knew what they were looking for this time.
Yes, it seems that way, doesn't it? Can I? Do I remember that's where we left it?
Yep. Sure
That's
is.
That's where we left it.
Yep.
I'll point this out to Dagmar that looks the same as we left it when we were here last. The day feels like it's different, but if that's the same as it was, is this what we did yesterday, or has somebody watched or seen what we did yesterday and tried to recreate it today in some way? I'm beginning to wonder whether some of our actions have stayed the same.
Or is it that we've just all had our memory, or everyone else had their memory of yesterday erased?
Ah. I find this most disturbing. I'm not coping with this very much well. I must admit, it's really making me struggle to understand how such a thing could happen.
When you entered the back door yesterday, was it closed or open?
It was
Unlocked.
It was closed
Okay.
and locked. It was unlocked, yeah. Yes, it had been forced from the inside. I know that much.
Yeah, it looked like someone had unlocked it from the inside and done a runner out of the back of the house.
Oh, but the door was still closed, right?
But
When
unlocked.
they arrived, yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
I'm trying to think of other physical actions we may have performed in this house, and whether they may have been recreated.
May I ask, the book that you took and put in your bag that you did yesterday, is that the same book? Have you just put the same book into your bag? So the book was still there in the same location.
That is the case, right, GM?
Mm-hmm.
So if this...
So this has moved.
the book has moved from your bag back onto the shelf where you have then picked it up again. But all the things we left in the house have stayed the same. Well, we don't know that, do we? What else did we do in the kitchen?
Yeah, that is the only thing that is different. Everything else is identical to how it was. That's the only thing that's different.
Morton may remember, I don't know if I can speak of in a different room, but we fixed the rug because someone had kicked it over and you almost tripped, so we flattened the rug in the other room. And that's the only thing when we entered from the back.
I also remember people going through the waste in the kitchen. It might be worth checking if that has been manipulated.
Well, we need to recreate our steps. Let's do that, and then we'll go. I'll head off and go back there. And do we notice the rug? Does this room feel the same as we go through?
Yep.
We can't see any obvious differences to how we remember it to be.
Even the rug is up like it was before. It is a trip hazard.
Okay, it's a trip hazard. So yeah, we'll go to those bins and the table. Obviously, under this table, open the curtain and go to the bins.
As you begin to sort of rummage around and look at the bins, and you open the curtain, etc., everything is exactly as it was before. As if you had never been here. The only difference is that jar, the key, the chest, and the letter. That's it. As you kind of come through and do this investigation, Quentin, as you say that you have seen, it's been a long time since you've seen one of these little creatures. You see its ears prick up, and its ears kind of rotate around a little bit as if it can hear something. And it looks at you, and its eyes go very wide, and then it says, thanks for the candy, but,
What's happening?
I've got a dash.
Why?
See you later. And it sort of hops backwards into the fireplace, and it hides in the shadows at the back of the fireplace, and you can see two beady little eyes looking out of the shadows at you.
I will immediately look around the room and see if there's anything I can spot. Anything that seems to have spooked it. Anything I can hear, especially if the ears is what are rotated.
The front door is still open out onto the street. And you hear the sounds of shouting. It's quiet, meaning it's probably out in the town, but you can hear the sounds of shouting. It's not scared or terrified or angry shouting or anything like that. It is just a raised voice. Sounds like a proclamation, like someone is making statements loudly. And it is a woman's voice.
I will call to the other two and say, you may want to check this out. I'm heading out front. And then I will head to out the front to see if I can see what is going on.
Okay. As you spill out from Benedicta's house. Okay. As you spill out from Benedicta's house and onto the street, on the corner of the road, you can see there is a woman standing on the wall of the church, And there is a group of people gathered around her, and she is addressing them all she's addressing them all very loudly. She is dressed very strangely. It seems to be a combination of like church robes. Like there is definitely sort of clergy about her. But she also looks like she is wearing hunting gear as well. Kind of, it's a weird combination of hunting gear and kind of church clothes. She is loudly proclaiming, as you come out of the house, you hear it a bit clearer, and she is loudly proclaiming that witchcraft has befallen the town. And it is here, as you step out onto the street and you hear this proclamation of witchcraft, it is here that we are going to take a little break.
No.
Yes. We are going to take a little break. We're going to take
Yeah.
we're going to take a 15-minute break just so that we can refill our glasses, eat some consumables, roll some hit dice, have a little short rest. We're going to take a 15-minute break. Well, maybe a little bit shy. We're going to take a 15-minute break, and we will return at. What is it now? It's 20:09. We will return about 25 to 10. Does that sound right? 9:35.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we will return to you about 9:35, where we will try and discover what on earth is going on. We will see you then. welcome back. We have finished our long rest. We have got some snacks and consumables. We have restocked with all the things. We've had a little short rest, rolled some hit dice, and we are ready to rumble. So let's rejoin the cast who have spent most of the break hypothesizing. That's like the theme for this evening. Hypothesizing. So we rejoin our cast after our break. So just before we went on break, you had been in Benedicta's house investigating and found some peculiar oddities that didn't fit, or maybe were clues. You've added them into your knowledge pile, but you have been interrupted by the sounds of shouting from the street beyond. And as you go to investigate, you find a woman clad in a combination of church robes and hunting gear, standing on the fence of the church, proclaiming to the villagers that they have been affected by witchcraft. And she is clearly using inflammatory language to try and whip them up into a kind of heated state. And so we will rejoin you into the village as you come out and hear her proclaim that that they are affected by witchcraft. And she continues, "For there is evil that looks down upon the town, and it reaches out its grasp to try to take control. But we must fight back." And you hear cheering from the townsfolk. What are you going to do?
I'd like to listen to start with to see if they like just go on loop or whether there's any new, lines of dialogue we're gonna get.
Do we recognise any of those people from the ones we met yesterday?
Yes, there's like townsfolk dotted around. Like you can see their worried faces. They're worried faces. They are. This is a mob. Like there is no doubt about it. This is a mob. It isn't. They haven't drawn out pitchforks and torches yet, but this is the beginning. This is how this starts. This is the kindling flame of a mob. It is frightened and worried townsfolk who are looking to this woman for some sort of assistance in this matter. She is proclaiming the evils of witchcraft and that they must all fight back. And you can hear kind of agreement and assent in the people. And she carries on, but it's all the same theme. There is no doubt in any of your minds, she is trying to whip them into a mob, into a frenzy of some description. And she kind of begins to peak. Like you can hear in what she is saying, the language and terminology she is using, she is beginning to kind of get to that point where she is going to kind of peak with her final statement or whatever it is that she's trying to get herself to. And it comes, as she said, "We must raise arms and fight against this evil, the evil in the mountain. Go to your homes, gather what weapons you can, and we will march." And you hear assent, sort of cheering. It's not cheering like yay. It's kind of like almost like a battle cry is rising up from the people who are clearly afraid, and they begin to disperse with intent.
Well, shall we go speak with our Hexieger?
I believe. Yes, now may be a time.
Before they go and get a bunch of villagers killed.
She hops down from the wall, and a few of the villagers kind of come over, and there's there's the patting of shoulders, and that kind of the bolstering after this pep talk, this this rallying cry. But the crowd is dissipating as people go with intent back to their homes to search for whatever weapons and whatever they have, whatever they feel they can use to try and fight back.
Quentin is not in the best mental state, so if someone else wants to do any convincing, that would not be the worst idea. He's
Not
a bit
sure
more jittery than he once was.
Morton will approach and go, Madam, may we have a word?
She turns to look at you, and you immediately realise this is not the sort of woman that is used to being called madam. She is, now that you're much closer to her, she is wearing, there's no doubt about it, she is wearing hunting gear. It is practical hunting gear. And she is outwardly wearing like a leather surcoat, like a hardened leather surcoat. Like, this woman is outwardly wearing almost like armor. And then over the top of it is cast some vestments from the church. Now, interestingly, as you draw close, you can see where there should have been crosses, like embroidered into like the collars and the end, like at the kind of like the corners of all these items look like they would have had crosses in the corners, but they have frayed or burnt or been damaged in some way. That means they have all been removed. But she is wearing it nonetheless, and she has grim determination on her face, and she kind of turns and surveys you oddly. And she says, "Yes. How can I help? Are you talking to me?"
Yes, I'm afraid I didn't catch all of your announcement, if that's the best place word
Call
for it.
to arms.
Cool.
It's a call to arms.
May I ask for a brief reasoning why you are calling this population of people to arms? What evidence have you got for this call to arms, and what knowledge do you have of it?
Because there is great evil afoot. There is witchcraft cast about the town. The devil himself has walked among the houses. I have all the evidence I need. The dark goings on, the death, the changeling, the destruction of the images of Christ.
I take it you're talking about the vandalism that has gone on in the town?
Battery 80%.
That is what you call it. Vandalism. I call it heresy.
And a changeling, no less. That sounds very odd.
A devil in the skin of a child. The most innocuous of evils.
That does sound quite terrible. Changeling. The devil within a child. To be honest, I think most children are devils. But do you think this is a wise move to send these people to combat? And evil is everywhere.
I shall lead these people into combat. I will lead them to their salvation. First, we will deal with the evil in the mountain. Then we will deal with its spawn.
And by its spawn, do you mean the child?
A changeling. It is not a child.
And what evidence is it that you have gathered? Beyond saying there is a devil in the mountains and a devil in a child in the village.
ask the villagers. Just speak to one of them and they will tell you all you need to know. The story, the history of this place, coupled with the child, this changeling, this devil. What more do you need?
Was
The
it
dark
Benedictus?
events that befall this place.
If there's devilry already in the village, why are you emptying the village? Why not deal with that before driving everyone into the mountain?
To win a battle, you must kill the commander. Then you can deal with its spawn. The evil comes from the mountain. We'll drive it out. Then we will cleanse this village. For the source of the evil will have been damned.
My apologies. What do you believe a group of villagers could do against what you have called a devil? Especially
You-
without your religious iconography.
You
What power?
see a group of villagers. I see an army of the faithful. Faith that will be our true weapon.
Unfortunately, faith may become your weakness if you pursue this course.
Faith
Do
in God is never weakness.
you what do you make of Benedicta's death yesterday?
It is a terrible travesty, and the second sign that there is evil in the town.
And you're saying that the death one day followed by the vandalism the next is a clear sign that the evil is among us.
The first sign was the changeling. It called me here. Second is the death, and the third the vandalism. We must intervene.
May I ask about the child? I'm intrigued. We had heard that the child was sickly, and that you had been called. Could you give us some more information about this child and whether they have symptoms, what they've been doing, what have you seen? How many times have you seen this child? Have you attempted any healings on them?
All the healing was attempted before I was called, but to no avail. All it takes is one look upon the child to know it is the spawn of the evil from the mountain. The child, after my arrival, the child attacked its parents, tried to murder them in the night. Now it is under my care.
The child is under your care, you say?
Confined within the church until we can deal with it.
Could we meet this child?
I would not advise it. None of you seem to have faith enough to protect yourself from its evil.
When did you house this child within the church?
Two days ago.
Would that have been before Benedicta's death? Or did you arrive before Benedicta's death? And you were here then before that. Did you meet Benedicta?
Yes, I did. Kindly woman, God rest her soul.
Would you, did you have a a long discussion with her?
Conversation enough to know that she had tried all she could, and that it was beyond her capability.
And what of Mrs. Kirkby? Did you meet with her a lot and see what her ailment was?
Her ailment is that her child tried to kill her. That would affect any mother. If you wish to see or speak to this child,
Yes.
then by all means. But I do not think it wise. You do not have enough faith to protect yourselves, and your soul will be in peril.
And unfortunately, it seems that the faith of this place wasn't enough to protect Benedicta.
Ooh, sick burn.
I said she was a kindly woman, but I did not say she was a woman of God. The least faithful of the town is the first to perish.
That offend you? That she was not a woman of faith?
No. My job is not that of missionary conversion. Mine is a job of guardianship, protection.
When did you hear of Benedicta's death?
Yesterday morning. And you see, there is a little moment. There is a little moment in that split second where she looks like she's questioning what she has said. But then she schools her face very quickly.
Oh.
And throughout of yesterday, what were you doing yesterday? During the day following that?
I have taken residence in the church and have been working to expel the evil from the changeling child. No avail. I believe the evil in the mountain. While it persists, the changeling is stronger than I. For I am fighting on two fronts. I shall stem the tide of evil from the mountain, then the changeling dealt with.
You may have already answered this, but why do you believe that the mountain is such a problem? Or whatever resides up that mountain? Why is the mountain an issue?
I do not have time to regale you with the fairy stories of this town. Might I suggest you speak with one of the villagers? They will fill you in on the details.
Is there any powers, any weird events that you believe that are going on now that are caused by the mountain directly? That is a much quicker thing to answer.
No mortal could traverse the town in the middle of the night like a thief and a heretic and destroy every Christian symbol. not possible. An evil swept through this town at night.
In your expertise of creatures of this nature, this evil caused ripples in time before?
She looks right at you.
Oh yeah, I'm directly looking
She looks
at them.
right at you with that question, and her eyebrows knit together, and she says, I think I'm rather busy organizing the defense of this town. You have asked enough questions, and I have given you enough answers. I must return to the church. Prepare. Will you be joining us? Will you assist this village in fighting for its life and freedom?
In our own way.
And if we can meet the child first?
I rather think that's out of the question at this point.
It is rather crucial to us.
Yes, I'm sure. But as I said, question. Why are you so interested? What brings you here, three strangers from the train?
Not sure if you've heard of me. Quentin Ludensberg. There's no case that I aren't interested in.
Afraid I haven't heard of you. When did you arrive in town?
On the train.
I didn't ask how, I said when.
Exactly when the train came in. I believe that was news across the whole of the town.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. I must adjourn. There is work to be done.
There is indeed. We'll be seeing you around, I feel.
We might see you tomorrow. Or that might be today.
Don't leave town.
She looks at the three of you and she says, I hope you're on our side. The side of the righteous. For if you are not, you'll be washed away by the tidal wave of faith. Then she begins to walk round. She walks down the path towards the entrance to the church, kind of leaving the three of you there.
Enlightening conversation.
It was indeed.
No, Benedicta has been dead multiple days. And our dear friend is also not experiencing the memory loss of the other villagers.
Definitely not.
I'm not to be surprised if one of their career that they would be otherwise unaffected. Our little friend in Benedicta's house made comment that the Vaesen and those with the sight may not be affected by the magic that is making the day reset, so to speak.
So the three of us are able to continue, whereas the rest of the town will not remember.
Yes, and our Hexieger friend here was certainly not in this location yesterday, and from that conversation definitely knows what has been going on.
We were told by the priest when we went to the church that she was researching, and she almost alluded to as much when we asked about what she was doing during the day.
Yes. And she confirmed Benedicta's death a couple of days ago, not this morning, and was very, very interested as to when we arrived. And on any time-related question. If a great evil did do all of this in one night, that is a large task and a lot of power. I do not feel a group of villagers with some faith will be enough.
We need to get inside that church.
We do indeed. We had a semi-open invitation, which then was quickly redacted, but Hexieger may not be in the church much longer, or we can just try our luck anyway.
We could try a luck. Yeah, luck. Yes, if the Hexiator does leave, we could then move in after she's not here. But what about the parents? The mother may well have been attacked by her child, but she's still her mother. And if she believes that she's in danger or being held unfairly, maybe we could move her to help us get into the church to at least meet the child.
That could be a good protocol. Would certainly get our foot in the door. And would certainly also, if what the Hexieger said is true, the scratches on Mr. Kirkaby's arms appear they could be linked to this story and not to our victim.
I have a question, Mr. GM.
I have an answer.
Good. As long as it's the right answer or an answer that I want, that would be brilliant.
I mean, the right answer and the right answer that you want are two very different things.
They are indeed.
Get out of here with your logic.
Just give us the answers.
Yeah, just give us all the answers,
what?
and then we can.
What
then
are
we
you
can get
going
on.
to do?
Send us the cheat sheet.
Yeah. With people with the sight, from what Morton has known and seen, for a changeling or for a Vaesen, are we able to see them as they are just by looking at them, or
Give
so
me
if yeah, go on.
Give me a learning roll.
Good question.
First roll. No modifiers. Is
No modifiers, just a pure learning roll.
Hey.
Right, nice. Okay.
Ooh, look at that learning.
Hey, good question. I'll give you the answer.
Thanks.
Alright, so in all the fairy stories about trolls, there is very often a changeling. Trolls in fairy stories very often swap their own children with a human child. From there on, fairy stories take their own branch in theme. Some fairy stories tell tales of changeling children that do great and miraculous things that are heroic or beneficiary to people in general. Other fairy stories give horror stories of changelings committing great and terrible acts of evil. Somewhere in all the changeling fairy stories, somewhere in all of them, there is a moment where you can tell that you can tell the changeling. There is something about them that gives them away. And it's often very humorous things like hairy ears or extra toes. Like, it's very often comedic kind of things. But in all the fairy stories, there is a way of telling if someone is a changeling. They're always different, but there's always a way. And as I said, it's often these ridiculous things like an extra toe or hairy ears or...
It's a bit weird if we barge down the door and demand the kid shows us its feet, though.
Or like, you know, there's lots of them. You know, extra toes, as I keep saying, hairy ears, like an unnaturally beautiful singing voice, strangely coloured hair, or maybe like just a part of your hair that's strangely coloured, being able to run very fast, being super strong, being able to breathe
Likes
underwater.
pineapple on pizza.
Likes pineapple on pizza.
I'm on that camp.
You troll.
Come at me. Come at me. Pineapple belongs on pizza.
But yes, it's always like, you know, that's all the fairy stories have sort of that humorous tell.
Okay. So in other words, probably, yes, if she's got the sight, she's probably able to identify one of those traits, or what she thinks is one of those traits to suggest it's a change. Okay. Based on the information that we've got, we have the one troll, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We've got the
Chat's
troll that
coming
could be
after
doing all the problems, or the Hexajager, or the link between them, and both, which we would see that they're opposing, if the story's correct.
I could inquire about the link.
It's a very elementary problem, isn't it?
It is. In fact.
Elementary,
GM.
my dear Quentin.
Elementary. What is the link between them?
Between what specifically?
The Hexajager and the troll. So everything that's going on between them.
Okay, so your two clues are the Hexajager is here for a reason, and there is a tale of a troll in the mountain. Okay. For everyone watching, our dear Quentin has a talent called Elementary, which allows them every session to take two clues and ask me what the link between them is. This is the first time we've seen it in action.
Hey, I don't want to waste it, so I hoard it.
Worst PI ever.
Or is it a wish situation where I've now got 3 more I can use in this session? I've been
you get one a session. Snooze you lose.
Like our GM would let them carry over.
Yeah, snooze you lose. Okay. So, my dear Quentin. This is the information that you currently have. The Kirkby child was unwell. They have sought the assistance of Benedicta, who seems to be a healer of some description. Benedicta is seemingly unable to assist them. Being very religious, being a very religious town, the Kirkbys have then reached out to the next best thing, which is a Hexajager.
Yep.
The Hexajager has come. And has come to the conclusion that the child is a changeling. Trolls, in fairy stories, swap their children with human children, thus creating a changeling child. There is a story here of a troll who is the only one left of its kind after they were all wiped out by the church. Take that information and spin it around. What if the troll was not the only one left? What if the troll in the mountain had a child and needed to hide it somewhere safe? And thus create a changeling.
Maybe if we could get this child free and get to the troll, maybe we could even convince the troll to leave, and there would be no need for bloodshed.
Maybe. But we do know it appears that Benedicta, remember, she said she had been found out in her letter to Ensum. Maybe she was trying to cover for the child. Found out by the Hexajäger and has to possibly take her own life. Now, the troll is on his own, trying to defend his child. Does he want to leave? Do they want to leave? Because they were used to protect the town, based on the story that we heard. Why can they not still live together? It's his mountain. Why would he want to leave?
I assume we've discovered nothing else that has fit the TOA acronym either. That we found in her place. That was the seal on the letter, right?
That was the jar. The label on the jar. That funny symbol that was like a troll cross with runes going through it.
Okay.
As you kind of stand around mulling over and hypothesizing on all of these clues, you begin to see villagers emerging from their houses. Now, your investigation and your conversations, your investigation of Benedicta's house, your conversation with the Hexajäger, all of these sort of things, we are now in early afternoon, like we've just nudged past lunchtime. We're now in early afternoon. You begin to see villagers emerging from their houses with various implements and tools about their person. They all begin to head towards the church. It's not like a mass movement, but it's like every, like you see one house and you see two grown-ups come out of the house, like one with a pitchfork, one with like a kitchen knife. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And then they head towards the church, and then a minute or two later you see another house open and someone comes out and they've got like a shovel and do you know what I mean? This is what you start to see, and they are all heading towards the church.
Are there any houses in the village where it's quite obvious that no one is joining in?
At the moment, it's a very slow flow. You could stand here on the corner and wait to see, like, keep tabs on who comes out of what house and who goes to the church and who doesn't.
Nah, balls to that.
I think Morton's idea of trying to see the child through talking to the Kirkby mother may be a good course of action.
We may not have time for that anymore.
I'm not sure
might
what we
need-
could
we-
say to stop these villagers going anyway.
We
Unless
have
we go-
two options, in my opinion. For what it's worth, is we either go to the church with the villagers and see whether we can try in some way to stop them from within by pretense that we are going to help, and join to try and find out whether there is something up the mountain and try to stop it. Or maybe we get back in Benedicta's house quickly, try and speak to your little friend as a matter of urgency to see if we can get in touch with the troll, or whether they have any ideas.
Maybe. The little Vater widget did state that Benedicta always went to the mountain to see the troll. They called Ensign by name. So maybe they have travelled there and do know them.
And we could outright ask the question, do you know who killed Benedicta?
Yes.
Seems like a very valid question.
Unfortunately, we were interrupted mid-conversation.
What are your thoughts?
I would much rather try and avoid the bloodshed. By whichever way necessary. If our friend is here, we'll probably be able to quickly find them. If not, then we can get back to the drawing board.
I mean, a mob will not be difficult to follow up the mountain.
No.
I shouldn't imagine.
I should imagine they'll take some time getting ready as well.
We should act quickly. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Back
Back
to
to
Benedicta's.
Benedicta's.
Mm-hmm. Sweets at
Alright.
the ready. Just fucking toss
Sweeties
the
at the
sweets through the
ready.
door.
Sweeties at the ready. Have them ready.
Got a little holster of hard-boiled sweets. Toss them like shurikens in the room.
Pew pew pew.
Maybe we should ask our questions first.
Once Morton is in, maybe we should shut the door this time.
I forget I can move my character.
So
Yeah,
that
shut the door. Yeah, I'll
they
shut
are
the
not
door.
scared.
And the other door as well.
Widget, we are back. There is no one else here, just me and my friends. Are you here to talk quickly? There's more sweets in it for you.
It is just quiet. It fills Benedicta's house.
No. Walk closer to the fireplace. Crouch down low. Do I see literally anything in there?
The remnants of a fire that had burned in this hearth that now lies cold, extinguished. Like the life, the owner of the home. Strange melancholy echo.
Widget, we need you. Please.
Do it
A
for
lot of-
Benedicta.
And a lot of other lives. Try and make sure someone nice moves in. But there has to be villagers left alive for that.
Yes.
We know that we know Benedicta was trying to help Ensign and help him hide his child. We'd like to help too. We don't want to see the villagers go up into the mountain and kill him.
Give me an inspiration check, Morton.
Hell yeah.
No
Did we-
pressure.
No
No pressure.
question.
No pressure.
Oh dear.
Damn it!
Okay.
Curses.
Curses! Curse you fiendish dice gods! You've betrayed us.
But I could push the roll, is that right?
You can
Mhm.
push the roll, yes.
Can I assist by throwing candy into the fireplace when he pushes the
No.
roll?
Hopeless.
Shuriken.
I want to push the roll.
Okay, it'll be a
What could
mental
go wrong?
condition. Now,
What could go wrong?
How does that work then?
I have
Sorry.
a sneaky feeling that you can push the roll, but I think you're supposed to roll before you add the condition.
Oops.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna check that. Why not check the rules? It shouldn't be too difficult. Pushing rolls.
Maybe my second manipulation would have passed.
Probably not.
Probably not. I'd already had 2 successes. Like, that's me done for the evening.
Yeah,
Maybe the
you've peaked.
campaign. Maybe even the campaign. Don't use my elementary talent. Can't roll for toffee. Perfect player,
Yeah.
you could say.
No, it says you suffer a condition, and then you may re-roll every die except the 6s, should there be any. So yes, I think you get to re-roll and then you take the condition afterwards.
Okay.
Let me read it like
I would like to re-roll then.
that. Re-roll and then take a mental condition.
And that's any
Could do
mental
the club.
condition.
Any mental condition. Hey, look at that.
What does hopeless mean? Is it just what it means that I think the situation's hopeless?
Yes, it means that you have run out of hope. You're just like, everything's gone to...
That's exactly how I feel. It's like we're in a bit of a rock and a hard place, don't know what to do, and I think the situation's a bit hopeless, so a bit desperation that we need some
Perfect.
more help
You're not
from these
angry
creatures.
and frightened.
No. That's fine.
You hear a response, but it comes from the kitchen. You hear a little voice say, "Who are you talking to?"
Widget.
"Widget's in here."
Wander through to wherever that is.
And you can see 2 little mousy creatures. One of them is on the floor, holding a bag open, and the other one is picking food up from the kitchen counter and dropping it into the bag. That seems to be the arrangement. They are currently in the process of purloining food from the kitchen side. And as you come in, there's a little... you see... Quentin, you can see Widget is on the floor holding the sack open. And Dagmar, you see the other little creature that was with them. That was with Widget. This other little creature is wielding a bread knife.
Nice.
And looks like they've just kind of savaged the loaf of bread on the side. And they're both kind of looking at you as you come into the room.
Hello again, Widget.
Hello.
I believe we were rudely interrupted earlier. And things have continued to change a lot.
You mean get worse?
Yes, you could definitely say. Get worse. We
We're gonna
believe the
get
villagers...
food, and then we're gonna skedaddle.
Can we talk first? Have you a way of contacting the troll? We believe the villagers are on its way. We do not wish it to be killed.
Nope. Only way to talk to Troll is to go up into mountain.
By the
Is
way,
is it easy to find? If we leave now, will we beat the villagers there?
Maybe, if you're quick.
Is there anything we need to know about the troll that may help us to either convince him to stop his actions or to leave the village alone?
Depends what you have in your heart. That's what you'll find.
mainly blood, I believe. Unless we're getting a physiological... No, that's not the term. The correct term. What I'm trying to say.
The two
What
little
are you
Vaeta kind of...
talking about,
Yeah,
Quentin?
the Vaeta are just looking at each other like, what is happening?
Quentin is shrinking back on himself. No. I meant to ask earlier, did you physically see who killed Benedicta? Or what killed Benedicta?
Nope. It's very
What?
sad.
Yes, it is very
Yes,
sad.
you said that.
But who or what was the cause of Benedicta's death?
Tea.
Did Benedicta
Tea?
make the tea that killed her?
It's definitely Benedicta's teapot and cup. And house and kitchen.
Did
Did
Benedicta
Benedict-
kill herself?
What a strange question. No. Why would she?
Who killed Benedicta?
Her killer, obviously.
And the identity of that killer? This is a wonderful game.
Remains a mystery. If only we had a detective.
This is me doing detective work. I'm questioning.
A
Oh.
potential
Very
witness.
crucial.
This is not helping us get to the troll, and
No.
it's only slowing us down.
Did the Hexajäger kill her?
Maybe. Hexajäger is... Hexajäger is scary.
Did you see this?
Hexajäger will kill all of us.
Not if we
Believe
can help
she
it.
will. If she had the chance.
We wish to stop this happening. We wish to stop more death. And part of that is catching whoever killed Benedicta.
Well, good luck with that. We are gonna get some food and then we're gonna hide.
How many sweets will the identity of the person cost?
I don't know. How many sweets do you have? And then you hear the little one on the table go, Widget! We don't know. We didn't see. Don't be stealing candy.
I like you. What's your name?
Jigger,
Digger?
like Thing Me. Thing Me, Jigger. Like that.
Which end, Jigger? Pleasure to meet you, Quentin. Well, I will definitely give you some sweets to go. Anyway, we really need to get to the troll before the villagers.
What's the
Fair.
best way to get up to
Yeah.
the troll?
Cross the bridge. Follow the path.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We must be on our way.
candy in the bag.
I will put a small handful. in the
And
bag.
there's like a tiny little frown. Like they look like Widget looks back in the bag and then back up to you, and there's like a teeny little frown. As if it's like, is that it? Kind of frown.
It reaches in, grabs like 2 more, just drops them in.
And then Widget smiles at you, and you see, they continue basically trying to get supplies. They're trying to get supplies and food into this bag so they can hide.
I'm going to leave out the back door.
Did we decide that the chest had been opened by someone else?
We didn't decide that, no.
I don't
We-
think we
We did-
decided
or
all
we
worked
decided
out.
or we
I've assumed we opened it. I've assumed that we've gone on to a
Okay.
next day based on we think that she's had moved on to the next
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
that
But I don't
that's
have
my
the
assumption,
letter
that's more-
anymore because I think it was said we lost everything from the previous day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who had the letter?
Moi. I'd have put it in with my notes, probably. Within that book. Sort of slipped it in.
Check.
Yeah, when I looked this morning, did the letter fall out?
Nope. There wasn't a letter in there this morning.
Okay. The letter's gone. On the way out, I definitely sort of thank you, my small friends, and reached to give a quick hug, if allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
The old single tear, quick hug, and then leave.
Cute. Question, Quentin. Did you get your notebook out when you were talking to the Hexajäger to make notes?
No.
Okay.
I always write afterwards.
Cool.
He
Noted.
does. I note the whole fucking time. It's kind of
No,
whenever
it-
there's like a lull or a downtime, like if we're standing waiting for something, he'll just sort of scribble down what he's learned, or at the end of the day, if he's not had a chance.
So you're making a dash out of the back door.
Mm-hmm.
going to go head out the back door, yeah.
All right.
My assumption is that's close to the bridge to go up the path.
Are there any other like sharp knives here that I can just?
Yes,
take and pocket for
100%.
later?
There is a sharp knife in the kitchen that you can steal.
I would like to take one for just in case.
Okay, perfect.
Is there anything on the shelves that could be used, like to throw
No,
in someone's eyes to blind them?
Just herbs.
Okay.
Would I add that to my equipment list?
Yes. It adds in
Oh.
as a knife.
Throw a fucking sprig of oregano in their face.
With no bonus to it.
It goes in as a weapon, so you'll want to put it in as in the weapon table of your character sheet. Da, 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 da. Find the weapons table in the book. Okay. It goes in.
Oh, I already had one.
Oh, well, there you go. It goes in as the same as that, then. In case you want two.
You can go akimbo.
I was going to, and in which case I'm going to offer out to Quentin and Morton if neither of them have one of these on their person, just to say, you know, might be wise to at least have something to defend yourself.
Let me have a look.
Uh,
I'll reach in and pull out like a set of knuckle dusters and be like, this is done well for me over the years, Morton. Have you got something?
oh, maybe, yes. A knife would be handy. Thank you. And I should take it.
Give it to Morton.
Okay, Morton, it goes into your
Gangster
it
knuckle
goes into your
dusters.
weapons. It is a melee weapon with a +1 bonus. It uses close combat, and it does 1 damage.
Okay. So it's the 1 damage. Okay. Do I have to add close combat or anything, or does it do it itself?
That is a good question that I do not remember the answer to. You need to, its attribute is melee.
Yes, that's what I've done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And range is 0, is it?
Yes, range is 0.
Brilliant. Perfect.
Lovely.
No one's backing me up on the pineapple pizza thing. Disgrace.
And so this is it. You're going to leave out of the back of Benedict's house and head up the mountain.
We are going to head for the hills.
Apparently so.
Let's make a move. Let's make things happen. Let's go meet a troll.
I've done investigating.
Nice.
Let's go.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
All right. So you head out of Benedict's house and you follow the path. The path leads you over the bridge, which goes over the river, and then you head out into. The path goes on for a little while. Tree-lined path. It is surrounded by those kind of like really beautiful evergreen kind of forests of Scandinavia, and the path is actually quite wide. It's more of a road than a path, actually. But after a little while, there is a T-junction where a much smaller path breaks away from the road and begins to head uphill. You begin to follow this path because it feels like this. It's going uphill, up and into the mountains.
As we climb, glancing back, are people still going out of like houses towards the church and stuff like that? Are we seeming to have a?
There is definitely people beginning to. There's definitely people beginning to gather in the church. You can see there's lights in the church. There's a bit more of a flow of people kind of headed towards the church. But no one is leaving yet. It's not like the mob has formed or anything. But you head up this path that narrows slightly. And as you follow the path through this beautiful kind of evergreen forest, the trees kind of break away a little bit, and you suddenly come up against an archway in the mountain. It is raw rock, like a cave entrance. It seems oddly symmetrical, but it's not carved or stone or anything like that. It is just an archway, and it leads into the darkness. Total darkness of the underground.
Oh, my friends. Into the belly of the beast.
Yes, I think so. We can't be any more in the dark than we already are. I will get out my lamp.
Ooh. I am searching for my token. on this
Yeah.
map.
Okay, so you're going to get out the lantern, yeah?
I have a hurricane lamp, yes. which
Oh,
I shall-
yes, you do. I had forgotten that you had a hurricane lamp. Okay, I'm excited. Let me put a lamp out for you. Okay. And we'll press all the buttons. Right, hopefully.
Yes, we can now see.
Bizarre.
What sort of time of day is it now? Because it was mid to late afternoon, didn't you? How long did our climb up the mountain take? Has it taken us into the evening?
Um, you're definitely into the afternoon,
Okay.
at this point. Um, all issues. Made a mistake.
Minor technical difficulties.
Technical issues. Right, I'm gonna press this button now so that people get the map. Okay, cool. Oh, now I've really done it. Okay.
I can see the map on stream.
Hopefully everyone can move their token as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's go
perfect.
Mighty Ducks Flying V.
Let me provide you with a lantern. Okay, there's your lantern. Alright. There you go.
Oh,
What will you do?
Ooh.
I am gonna go. Shall I lead the way? And I shall start walking forward.
If you've got the lantern, yes.
I'm not
please.
gonna wait for any response. I'm just gonna go.
Lead
I'm-
on, Magic Morton.
Can I move the lantern and me together?
Yes, you can. You
Anyway.
kind of have to like drag and select them. Okie dokie. Right. You wander into the darkness of this cave. Before you go any further,
Mhm.
things to tell you.
Meh, meh.
Roll
Morton, if you-
initiative.
Morton, if you want to take a little bit of a step back.
Oh, we didn't track.
Yeah, okay. You wander into the cave, and as you do so, the cave closes around you as you step in. It's like the mouth of the cave closes, and you find yourselves in the belly of the beast almost. The cave is filled with the sounds of dripping water and the sighs of the wind, almost like voices, like as if sounds of lost souls filter past you. Sad, sorrowful moaning. As you turn the corner with your lantern, you are suddenly faced with a huge statue. It is about 7 to 7.5 feet at a guess high. And it is a statue of a woman clad in strange clothing. She has a calm and beautiful face on her, and she seems in motion or movement, as if she kind of just was suddenly, just captured in that moment, that lifelike moment. As you look a little closer, you realise she has a calm expression about her, and she is dressed strangely. She carries a sword. She stands in such a way as if she was on guard. The likeness is uncanny. The lifelikeness of this statue is unnerving.
I would like to take a really close look at it. Just check it over to see whether it looks like it's been made. There's whether I can find any tool marks or anything like that on it.
Or
And whether-
you can give me an investigation roll.
Nice.
Okay, that is really nice. There are no tool marks on this statue at all. It must have been carved by a master craftsman. Like, there's not even joins in the stone. Like, this must have been carved from a single piece and done so by... It is mind-blowingly good.
Does it look like anyone we might recognize?
No.
And are there any symbols on the armor, the sword, hilt, things like that?
Nope.
Do we get that weird feeling that it's watching us? Or just seems like a inanimate?
Yeah, it would totally
statue?
give you that feeling like you're being watched because of how good it is as a statue, as a sculpture.
And how big did you say it was? It's big.
It's between 7 and 7.5 feet.
Okay. And we are able to get round it.
Yes.
I will continue past it.
We follow the light.
Mm-hmm. So all past or do that. We mean no harm. This has been a weird case, and who knows if this fucker's alive. Like
Would you like offer it a sweet? Maybe it'll help.
Yeah, maybe it'll.
Would you like a candy?
More than happy for it to take a sweet.
I must be desperately low on sweets. Gonna have to restock soon.
Is there another one in front of us?
Yeah, in fact, there is a pair of them. There are huge stalagmites that reach up out of the ground in this cave, and several of the stalagmites have actually formed columns as the stalactite above it has joined together. But standing here in the cave, there is a figure in a long, flowing gown, and another figure in like a suit, and they are standing looking at each other as if captured in the moment of conversation. Again, they're about 7 to 7.5 feet high.
Are they people?
Yes.
Do they look like humans? They don't
Yes.
look weird in any way.
Nope.
They're just big human statues.
Yep.
But very, very good.
Would we know if trolls ever appear as humans?
Yep.
And their rough size? Does this make sense as this could be?
Trolls can change their shape. They often are often in all the fairy stories, they change their shape in some way.
They are often bigger than normal people.
Oh yeah, trolls are huge.
I was gonna say, unless 7 to 7.5 foot is normal for this world.
Trolls are huge.
Could this be the ones that were previously dealt with by the church?
Maybe.
Or at least a homage to them in their honor?
We don't know the full story.
No. Been painfully in the dark in this case.
We need to just keep moving forward, see if we can find this ensign.
Yes.
Is there a little corridor to my right?
Yes, there is.
I would stop. What's down here? Then move that way inside. Feel free to tell me to.
You're alright, I will. It's just like a cave, and it is a living cave, so it's wet. There is water dripping from the ceiling, there's the cave walls. The cave becomes narrow here, but noticeably, even though it becomes narrow, it's still sizable enough that, say, a 7 to 7.5 foot statue could easily make its way through the tunnels. And as you kind of think that, you come across another one, again, kind of clad in strange clothes, holding a sword, seemingly standing guard.
We didn't have any more information on this, did we? Other than that the church. The story didn't give us
Yeah.
information about how they just said the church got rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
As far as I know.
Yeah. I'll go walk past the guard again. Oh, looks like there's a staircase. Is that downwards?
It looks a little bit like it goes upwards. Completely honest with you. It is carved. Suddenly, out of the darkness of the cave, rises up an arching set of stairs. And as you draw ever closer, you can see these are not in fact stairs. It is a bridge. A beautifully carved stone bridge that spans a chasm of a hole.
Do we cross?
I believe
Did,
so.
Did Widget or
They
Chica say
said
something
follow
about a bridge?
a bridge, but whether that was the first bridge or this, there's only one way to find out. This is as good a way as any to go.
Away we go. Over we go. A brief look over the chasm as I go across.
Hell no, am I looking over?
As Quentin, as you stand there on one side of the bridge, you watch Morton and Dagmar cross the bridge ahead of you. As they do so, Quentin and Dagmar suddenly stop as they cross the bridge, as if their attention is suddenly caught by something. Dagmar. Morton, you feel the strangest sensation come over you. It's as if, it's that sort of shuddery feeling that you get that people say, oh, someone stepped on your grave. You get this kind of shuddery rush of cold kind of affect you from the very top of your head to the very tip of your toes. And it kind of makes you stop in your tracks as you shudder. As you look at each other, I'm going to need all three of you to make me a fear test. So you need to roll either logic or empathy, and I'll describe what happens, and then you can pick which one you're going to use to try and deal with what you are bearing witness to. I need you to make me a fear roll as all three of you watch as Dagmar and Morton visibly just begin to age at a rapid pace, becoming elderly. Their hair suddenly turns grey, their skin wrinkles, their posture stoops slightly, and all intents and purposes, Quentin, You're fine on that side of the bridge. Nothing changes for you at all. But the horror of watching Morton and Dagmar suddenly age affects you in such a way. So empathy or logic rolls, please.
It could only be one.
I'm gonna go.
Shit.
Makes no difference to me. I'm going empathy.
I'm screwed by my modifier anyway.
Okay,
Oof.
nice.
Whew.
Okay, Dagmar, you are going to take a mental condition from this. Quentin and Morton, you're not. Neither of you will.
Boom.
As you stand there, you feel the fear rush over you. Quentin and Morton, although you feel the fear, it doesn't rise up as much. But Dagmar, watching Morton suddenly grow old, and then looking down at your own hands and seeing kind of wrinkled old hands complete with little like liver spots, and you touch your face and you feel your hair and you realize you too have aged. Horror rises up within you and you take a mental condition.
Just another quirk in the case. Just another quirk in the case. Just another quirk in the case.
And as we hear Quentin's voice softly echo through the cavern, that is where we will end this evening's session.
Unbelievable.
Yo, let's reset that elementary question.
Elementary.
Ooh.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thank
my
you
God.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good session.
It was
Thank
very good.
It was a
you.
hoot.
Thank you.
A
Gee.
huge thank you to our cast for this evening's incredible roleplay and ridiculous entertainment. So a huge thank you to our cast. We're going to go around the circle, doing our normal who are you, where can people find you, all of those sort of things. Quentin, you're right at the top this evening, so why don't you start off? Who are you? Who did you play? Your whatever you want to say, really, to the lovely viewers.
I am Matt. I was playing the lovely and always modest Quentin, who hates to name drop. I can be found mainly here, but I am in the process of starting a little side projects that I'm mainly doing for my own fun. But I may post on Twitter or Instagram. I'm going to play through a challenge I've always wanted to do. Play through all the Pokemon games. Only ever use grass types. And that will be under Matty_Hotbine. It will likely be random posts on Instagram or Twitter. Just to update and just so I have a record. But if anyone's interested, then it will probably be there. But yeah, mainly here.
We will definitely share a little bit of this on the Society Instagram. So head on over to our Instagram. You can find the links on the Twitch or the YouTube, and yeah, you'll be able to daisy chain your way to this ridiculous Pokemon on this ridiculous Pokemon challenge. Only grass types. Honestly, that's mad. It's madness. When you get to try and get your fire badge, you're going to die.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. You're going to die. Morton, who are you? Who did you play? Where can we find you? What do you want to say? Oh my god, I've just got myself a catchphrase.
Brilliant. I'm Gus and I've been playing Morton Thorsby. Been great doing it. Thank you for the invite as always, and thank you to Luke, our DM or GM in this game. Excellent as always.
It's too ridiculous.
As also, I'm not even going to say it this week. You can't find me on Instagram or whatever. I don't bother with it, to be honest with you. So yeah, but yeah,
you can be found at the best place.
I can be found at home.
He literally just exists here. He exists here, and then during the week He just sits and waits for us to come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just hibernates.
Hibernate away. Yeah, that's me.
It's a fact.
I we found at home most of the time, or in the office. There you are.
And please don't search for you there.
But
Yeah,
most
it's a thing.
importantly, you can be found here, having
Yeah.
fun and being ridiculous on the society. Okay. Oh God, now I've got to remember my catchphrase. Diminic, who are you? Oh my God, who are you? Who did you play? Where can we find you? What would you like to say?
Catchphrase is growing, isn't it? It's getting there. Get some
great.
momentum on it. It's good.
It's great.
Yes. So I'm Dan, also known as Div and Ink, and I've been playing Dagmar Eriksson. I am predominantly a Sea of Thieves streamer on Twitch, but I do play other games on Twitch as well, also to be found at Div and Ink. I can also be found with the same name on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Ooh, exciting. Oh, exciting stuff. Like, just go down the rabbit hole of TikTok. Never to be seen again.
It's begun.
It has begun in earnest. We're somewhere in between Eat Me, Drink Me and a caterpillar with a shisha. Somewhere around that region of TikTok.
We're beyond the shisha. We're just into drawn curtains and shame now. That's all we're doing.
We're well past the caterpillar scene. Oh, beautiful. So a huge thank you to our cast. We're going to say goodbye for the evening, and we really look forward to seeing you all next week for
Thank you.
more ridiculousness. So wave from the cast, and then we're going to head over. I mean, viewers and me, we're going to head over to the credits and the most important part of the stream, where I hear voices in my head.
Voices time.
Voices time. Let's head over to the credit roll. So here we are on the credit roll. This is where I try and talk to you, read the credits as they scroll, be tormented by my players that talk into my brain all at the same time, and try to stay professional all at once. Alright. The Society would like to say a huge thank you to Shusha for her amazing character art, which we have seen throughout the stream this evening, in the intro and with our amazing character tokens. You can find more of her amazing art on her Instagram over at Shusha UK. That's ZSU UK. Go and have a look. It's absolutely incredible. If you're interested, head over to the Instagram, where hopefully you will find a link for Shusha's new Kickstarter, which has just started. Go and have a look. It's incredible. We're going to say a big thank you to Johan Egerkrans for creating the original Vaesen artbook and all the beautiful materials that inspired the creation of the Vaesen RPG game. Head over to the website. You can see it now on our credits. It will be in the chat, and it will be below if you're joining us on YouTube. Following on, we want to say a huge thank you to Free League Publishing for their game system and the amazing artwork and all of the source books that we used in this stream. Keep an eye out, because Mythic Britain is coming to their website very soon, where you can see all of the expansions to Vaesen, introducing Mythic Britain and Ireland. We used Roll20 this evening as our virtual tabletop for our character sheets, dice, and all of the shenanigans that you saw, including their dynamic lighting. Head over to their website if you want to use a virtual tabletop for your games. And with that comes tabletop audio for their amazing ambient soundtracks that we heard this evening. And that was through the Roll20 jukebox. So head on over to either Roll20 or their website if you want to get those sounds in your games. And on the subjects of sounds and music, Kevin MacLeod with Incompetech also contributed to this evening's sort of ambience and music, again through the Roll20 jukebox. All of the battle maps for our VTT were made using the incredible Dungeon Fog and all the assets that are available over on their website. If you are a DM and you want to create your own maps, head on over. I cannot stress enough how amazing it is. The OBS overlays were created by myself using the Valhyr runic translator to create all of the runic shenanigans that you see, and the intro video music was created by myself on Music Maker Jam. I want to say a huge thank you to the cast for this evening, but also for the Society crew as a whole, including our fabulous moderator for this evening, Mutinous Mikey, also predominantly a Sea of Thieves streamer, but also does a number of other games. I believe he is hoping to start doing Guild Wars 2 streams in the not too distant future. So if that's your jam, head on over. The link is in the chat. Huge thank you to the crew as a whole, because without all of you, really, this just wouldn't be happening. It would just be me telling stories, and it would be an audiobook rather than this ridiculousness. So there you go. And now, the bit that everyone waits for is the hearing of the voices as we scratch around the spirit world trying to find somebody to raid. And we're ready. This evening we are ready. We are organized. Hashtag efficiency. So /raid. Oh my god. I legitimately can hear voices in my head right now. So we are going over to Buster the Destroyer. That is Bravo, Uniform, Sierra, Tango, Echo, Romeo, Tango, Hotel, Echo, Delta, Echo, Sierra, Tango, Romeo, Oscar, Yankee, Echo, Romeo. There you go. They are playing Star Trek Solace, and it is episode 5. I need to put a space in there. I nearly ruined that completely. I've hit the button. Hey, and it has worked. We're raiding over to Buster the Destroyer. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came this evening, all of our viewers. Huge thank you. We really hope that you are enjoying the content that we are creating, and we're really hoping that we see you next week. So, with that, a huge thank you, and we will see you again with the Society next week.